Hey guys, it's Yashika, and it's my second day of doing a 30-day YouTube sprint. And today I'm just gonna talk about like Disney fairy tales and some really dark facts behind them. So, I think most of you know that the Disney fairy tales are based on old tales and they just retold them through the movies. But like some of these original tales have really dark stuff and really dark endings. So, like, yeah, I just want to talk about that. I analyze those endings a bit because most of the people writing a blog on these dark themes, they're just sort of being like, I don't even know what's the moral of this, like what were they trying to do by writing this tale. So I just want to get into that, analyze these dark themes. So the Grimm brothers didn't actually write the first Cinderella. That was written by Charles Perrault, but the Charles version was actually pretty basic. There was nothing too controversial in it. But the brothers version, it actually, instead of a fairy godmother, the character, I think Ashful, yeah, there's this, instead of Cinderella, it's Ashful, and like she gets her dresses from a tree that she planted near her mother's grave, and she actually watered the tree through her own tears. And I think like that might seem a bit too horror or melancholic, but I think it speaks to like how we grow our rewards through our grief. Another big change in the Grimm brothers version was that, when the minister came with the glass slipper and they made everyone in the house try it on, and the stepsisters in the movie, they were just sort of fighting about it, trying to get their feet stuck in the shoe, but like they couldn't. Like in the Grimm brothers version, one of the sisters actually cuts off her toe and the other cuts off her heel just so she can fit into that shadow, uh, into that shoe. And like, it's because this shoe starts bleeding that the minister finds out, and then they're like, no, that's not what happens. And like there's also then a dove plucks out their eyeballs, and that really speaks to how some people give parts of their soul or give parts of their body, like their lungs or their kidneys, or just metaphorically, to fulfill their desires, to fulfill their ambitions about something. And like, in the end, they don't even have to destroy anything, because that desire of theirs or that ambition of theirs ends up totally destroying them itself. So it's like, it's just a matter of how far you go in your destruction, and if you go too far, then you're just lost. Another really interesting tale is The Little Mermaid. And the original tale was by Hans Christian Andersen. And like, basically what happens is that there's this mermaid Ariel, who sort of sees this prince on a ship, and like their ship gets wrecked, so she saves the prince when he's drowning and like gets him to land. And the prince gets obsessed by her voice, and then days underwater, Ariel thinks about him a lot and eventually gets ready to sacrifice her voice to get to land. And so in the movie, what happens is that she sacrifices her voice and goes out, but like she's told that if she can't marry him in 3 days, she's gonna turn back into a mermaid. But in Anderson's tale, like when she goes on land, she sacrifices her tongue for it, and her voice for it. And like when she's walking, she feels like she's walking on daggers. She, you know gets really acquainted with the prince, but like in the end he marries someone else because he thinks that that's the person who saved him. She should have died after that in Anderson's tale, but like her sisters sacrifice their hair and give her a dagger that if she kills the prince, she's gonna be a mermaid again when his blood drips on her feet. So like she's gonna be a mermaid again, her feet would turn into fins, but she isn't able to do it because she's a good person. And she jumps into the sea and like turns into sea foam. I don't know why I feel this way, but I seriously feel like the fact that she turned into sea foam, or like basically died, isn't really a bad thing, because you know firstly, she's walking on daggers because of her love, and like because she loves this person, she isn't able to like be true to herself or be true to her homeland, and like she feels like she doesn't belong. But like even after that love has betrayed her, she has this option to take revenge or to hurt someone else, to like return to who she was before, or like, you know, return to where she belongs. But like she refuses to do that. She refuses to, go back to the past, and she embraces the future, however bad it is, or however uncertain and however dark it may be. She chooses not to hurt another person, and like embraces the consequences of her own actions. And I think that's really beautiful, although it's tragic, but like most, beautiful things are. So yeah, that's my take on it.